Turning our attention to the grain complex now, the nearby corn contracts have broken $6 per bushel. Meanwhile, at the time of this recording, the nearby soybean contracts continue to inch closer to surpassing $14 per bushel. To break down the markets this week, we were joined on Wednesday by Darin Fessler of Lakefront Futures and Options. We began the conversation by asking Darin about the factors that will keep the momentum going for the corn market.
I think it's one, chart structure. I think that is the real big key. As long as the chart structure remains bullish here and we don't see a whole lot of breakdown there, I do think that this market could potentially, backed by momentum from the fund buying, could push this towards that 630, 640 on the corn, and probably maybe towards that 1430, 1440 level on the beans as well. But again, it's going to have to be led by chart structure. You have a huge WASDE report on next week coming up. That could move the needle. Obviously, the South American weather is going to have a big factor in all of this too. But we are at some levels now where producers are starting to step in here, reward us with a historically strong basis, and I think that's exactly what they need to do, and still be defensive, but still be optimistic here. We could push higher here because there is fun rebalancing this time of year.
Earlier this week, March soybeans posted their high since, I believe, July of this past year. Is it all South American weather at this point driving that market?
I don't think it's 100%. Obviously, there is issues in southern Brazil. Paraná and Rio Grande do Sul are very dry, but not all of those states are dry. We shift to January and February. We're going to shift some of that weather focus to Argentina, but Argentina is still not 100% planted. So again, I think that some of this is momentum driven by funds rebalancing, or index funds, even that for that matter as well. But to me, these are still opportunities for producers who have old crop. If you've missed out on these, the runs we had earlier in 21 in the summer, in the June-May time frame, you still have an opportunity to sell it here. You still have very good basis levels. And to me, the way I'm looking at Brazil, I still think they're 140 million metric ton crop, which would be a record for Brazil. There's no indication as of right now. I know there are some private estimates out there that really slash their production figures, but to me, it's awfully early to say Brazil's not going to have a record. They have almost 3.5 million more acres planted. So to me, the way that the central and northern parts of Brazil are looking right now are going to be phenomenal. It's how much of that gets offset by the production losses that are coming from the south. I think that's a huge question for the bean market.
Been a lot of chatter about South America weather. I follow you on Twitter and you post a lot of pictures from there. What's the best way for a producer to try to keep up with everything that's coming out of there?
Yeah, I think is to take a holistic approach and listen to both sides, because there's going to be producers down there that are really hurting, and unlike the American producer, there's not a whole lot of crop insurance stuff that helps them out, so they are hurting. And I feel, if you're sitting out there and you're harvesting early beans and you only have 10, 15 bushel, per acre, that's going to be a whole different ball game, because there's some early stuff coming out of Mato Grosso that's 60, 65 bushel. But you got to take the holistic approach when you're looking at South America and figure out where the biggest parts of the country production-wise are, and determine it, where are they going? Where has the rain been? And right now, I think that the northern and the central part of Brazil are totally fine. I think the area of concern is starting to shift towards Argentina, because the maps, yes, the nearbys are dry, the extendeds are showing more rain. If Argentina gets rain, I still think South America is fine.
Let's shift the conversation a little bit. Let's talk about wheat. Certainly some volatility in that market lately. What's driving that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on. We have some of the higher wheat prices in the world. We do have, obviously, some concerns in the winter wheat belt here. I mean, you look at the Kansas wheat ratings that have come down. It kind of is maybe an error to decide a caution right now, because if you've been bearish this market, which there's been a lot of people bearish now, technically it's been a lot of chart damage done. But you look at the Kansas wheat ratings and you think about what the drought map looks like and how dry some of these areas have been, you kind of want to maybe just take a pause here a little bit, maybe take some profit, move to the sideline, see how the progress goes over the next couple of months. And as long as wheat is starting to stabilize, say on the Chicago, right around this 750, 760 level, if we can stabilize there and see some pressure, upward pressure, or good pressure on the corn side, I think wheat goes with it. But if we start to see wheat start to falter again and corn goes, I think it's all going to go with it, along with beans. If beans go, I think it's a ride lower for all of the grains.
least the current moment seems like a pretty good opportunity, though, for producers out there that want to move some grain, right?
Definitely. You're seeing really strong historically basis. In some bases is starting to weaken a little bit, but historically it's still pretty good. We still need to reward these markets. If you want to see what happens later out into the June, summer time frame, there's not a whole lot of carry in the market. Be defensive. Look for some put strategies in there, some put spreads, just to give yourself some downside insurance protection.
Building on that, final word is yours. What final risk management or market advice would you like to leave our viewers with today?
Don't leave a good profit. Take it while you get it. With the basis the way it is, with the spreads how they are, it's not paying a producer right now to hold corn out, say, out to July. If you're wanting to hold physical bushels, I would recommend selling physical, buying a call spreads out to the July September timeframe, keeping yourself flexible in this market.